Frank J. Avella with the Contending. Sundance is right around the corner, and Lou Taylor Pucci is co-starring in Addison Heiman's batshit crazy new film, Touch Me. Welcome, Lou, and congrats. Brian's quite a creation.
Oh my God. So you've seen the film.
Yes,
That's
yes.
fantastic. Yeah. Yeah, what a creation. I did not know what we were getting into until we really saw it. The only thing I came to this with was telling Addison from the beginning, I think I want to play Brian as as this very sweet boy. So I'd like to look like not a very sweet boy. So that's why I dyed my hair black and I had this really long hair at the time. And so, yeah, it just kind of went a little bit more sinister looking, so that I wouldn't have to do anything.
Well, one of the things I kind of really loved about what you did is, I mean, he's not human. He may be an alien, maybe not.
Right. Right.
And yet there are these human characteristics that you brought to him that I thought gave him a tremendous nuance.
My inspiration for it is really simple. It's Gene Wilder and Willy Wonka because he's selling this world. He's selling this world of imagination that you've never seen before. And it's like beautiful and magical. And he seems to truly love everybody. He really wants to show that. And he wants friends in a way. So I mean, like that's where that's where I got it from. That's kind of where I would go back to in my brain every once in a while. Was just that glimmer in Gene Wilder's eye of magic.
So how did you get involved? How did the script come to you?
In the funniest way, I've worked with Aaron Moorhead and Justin Benson multiple times now on Spring, a horror film. Just recently on Daredevil, which is fantastic, and can't wait to see that. And their production company, Rustic Films, the triumvirate of that is David Lawson. And David pitched me at a party I was going to at Justin's house. I was just going to hang out. I thought I was just going to hang out. You know what I mean? I went to go hang out and I got hard pitched on hey, we met this guy at a film festival. His name is Addison Heimann. He's got this script. It's batshit crazy. You'll never have read anything like it. I said, okay, like let me take a look. I read that thing and I had to read it 3 times. I don't do that. I mean, usually I'm pretty like, if I don't like it the first time or even the first 15 minutes of it, I'm like, nah. But this was something else. And I honestly couldn't fully figure it out. I couldn't figure out the mechanics, like the
Hmm.
plot, it's just how things work because it is this sci-fi world that he created. So I had to sit down with Addison, and really all I wanted to make sure of was that he knew what he meant by all this and that there was some kind of a deeper root to it all, not just some, hey, I made a flippant comedy and
Yeah.
this is just what I think is fun, because that's not the reason to make something for me. And Addison was so cool. He really has a deep breakup. He had a deep breakup with someone who was very toxic in his life and wrote this script about that. And so the depth of this really reflects that there is a deep root of toxic friendships, enslavement, servitude to a relationship. And yeah, it's pretty scary.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Well, it's a very sexy film too, which we
It
don't see
is.
much lately, right?
Yeah. I think people are afraid to do that a bit. But I mean, then again, you got what was it called? Was it The Idol? That was very sexual on
That
TV.
was, yeah. Yeah. And they canceled
Um,
it.
exactly. Very true. They would probably cancel this too, if there were more than one. But since you just watch it once, they can't get away with canceling it.
That's
I
really true. But I mean, his relationships with both, it's very queer friendly too, which is nice.
100%, yes. It's definitely like in the realm of total gender fluidity, which I think is just right now the perfect thing to talk about in every way.
Yeah, absolutely. And so you're going to Sundance again. Okay, let's talk a little bit about Sundance because you're no stranger to Sundance.
No.
Personal
No.
Velocity. I mean, Thumbsucker, you won an award. You had three films there in 2009. You were
Yeah,
kind of the male Parker Posey for a while there.
that's exactly what they called me at the time. I was like the indie darling Parker Posey, the boy child Parker Posey.
What
I
was all of that like for you? And now in retrospect that you can like look back on it.
It's still the same. It's still this mind-blowing adventure that I got to go on so early in my life and so early in my career that I got lucky. I mean, Tilda Swinton said it the right way when I first worked with her in Thumbsucker, which went to Sundance. She said, "You've been spoiled." I was like, "Oh no." She said, "No, it's a good thing. You're always gonna know when you're doing shit
Oh.
and you're gonna walk away." I said, "Whoa, that's some huge advice." Of course, it would come from Tilda Swinton, you know. Um, but yeah, Sundance was has been this like it's in a very weird way. It is sort of like going back to this old home that I used to have because for many years I was going there back to back to back to back with multiple films. In fact, one time Sundance, I was there for three films, and so they just said, "Hey, you're going to be here. Would you like to be the juror for the short films this year?" I was like, "Yeah." So I got a jury pass. I got to go into, I think I saw 16 features that year and 97 short films, which
Whoa.
is insane. And that's while I was doing the press for all the different. So Sundance is just this weird, strange home that I haven't been back to in over 10 years. And I'm so excited to go back.
God, I can only imagine.
Yeah.
I have to ask you about a movie I saw the last night called Ex-Husbands,
Oh my God.
which I
Yes.
really, really liked.
Oh,
Can
that's
you speak a
great.
bit about that film and getting involved in that film?
Well, yeah, there's this is a really funny reason. Um, so I auditioned for that. I auditioned for the main role. What was his name? My brain is
Oh
ruined.
God, James Norton.
James. Yeah, so James was he got that role that I auditioned for. But about a month later, they came back to me and they were like, "Look, we have he's got so many friends in this thing. They're all on this trip with him. Everyone is going to be featured in different ways. If you like the script, would you think about playing a way smaller part that has a lot less lines, but like you'll really be a part of this adventure with James the whole time as his best friends?" I said, "Well, I got a little story for you. I just broke my leg."
That was going to be my next
Uh,
question.
and I have a tib fib, so like both legs are broken, and I'm on like a scooter and crutches. Would you like me like that? And they said, let me get back to you. And they came back in a couple days and they were like, yes, we think that's really funny. So I was like, okay, let's go to Mexico and make this movie on crutches. And honestly, I'm really happy that I made it because I had a super amount of fun. It was great. But I haven't seen the film yet.
Oh,
You saw something I haven't seen.
honestly, it's really, really good. It's like a throwback to movies that were made, like Cassavetes films, and
That's awesome. Well,
yeah,
Griffin Dunn is definitely has been one of my favorite actors since I was a kid. Just so that, it blew my mind to be able to work with him. And James is a great actor. So it was really fun to work with all of them.
yeah, it's a really good ensemble. You need to see it.
That's super cool. Yeah, thanks. I'm glad that you liked it. That's awesome.
Absolutely. I also have to ask you about a movie that I've always loved. And Jesus, after COVID, I mean, it was almost like the parallels are crazy, and that's Carriers.
Man, Carriers is crazy how the parallels were so real. Even just the masks that everybody wears in that have the happy faces drawn on them in Sharpie. It really was prescient, it was what would happen if we were in a total pandemic. And then lo and behold, what, 20 years later, I guess 15, something like that, we were in a total pandemic for real. I mean, going through that COVID was one of the craziest things ever. But yeah, Carriers was fully a really well fleshed out idea of what it would be like. And you can see that now because it really mimics exactly what we went through.
Yeah, yeah, big time. They really should re-release it.
Yeah, I know. I thought the same thing. I think it's because I mean, because at the time, I think it was like I don't know if it was Netflix or what, but it was showing on it was streaming like hard
mm,
right during COVID at the same time. So I'm not sure if they could like re-release or something like that, but I think a lot of people watched it.
yeah, I first time just a few nights ago, and I was blown
Oh,
away by.
really? That's
Yeah,
so cool. That's
yeah.
so cool. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I think we made it, 2009 or something like that, a long time ago.
So
Um,
a quick question, getting back to Touch Me. Brian couldn't have been an easy role simply because of what he is, and I don't want to give anything away. But you've
yeah,
done horror before, you've done Evil Dead, Spring, Ava's Possessions, but not
yeah.
this kind. So what was your prep work like?
Oh man, my prep work was insane. Truthfully, I know this probably isn't popular to say among actors, but I'm an outside in guy. Like I start from the outside and that informs what ends up happening inside. It's for me, that's just how it's always worked. When I figure out what the character looks like and I look in the mirror and see that person changes.
Hmm.
So all of a sudden I change into that guy a lot easier. And so for me, I was working with I was doing strongman exercises I had 30 days after I got pitched and said yes to when we were going to film.
Oh
And
my
so
God.
30 days is not that much. And I had but it's more than usual. And I just said to Addison, I said, "You wrote this guy to be this sexual creature. I want to be in top bodily shape. I think that it would work for this film the most." And he was like, "I'm not going to make you do it, but I would love that." So I said, "Yes, let's do it." So I worked with doing strongman exercises with a bodybuilder, who's a good friend of mine, and started taking hip hop classes,
Oh,
because that was the thing that I was scared of the most. I'm in no way what I would consider comfortable dancing. But I grew up in like a theatrical Broadway early career, so I've done it before on stage and performed. It's just not since I was 11. You know what I mean? So it's been a long time. And so the prep for this was truly getting the hair color right, getting the beard color right that I was topping up every 3 days, um, getting the my muscles to look like I'm, some kind of vain model type, and then getting my hip hop in order. And so I was taking hip hop classes every single day, doing exercise every single day. I lost like 15 pounds in 2 weeks. It was insane.
wow. That is crazy.
Yeah, it was fun. It was super awesome because I looked great after. But, it was nothing I'd ever tried before. This was completely new and very, very hard, very difficult. But like it was very military in the way that I would wake up, had a very specific routine, and by the time I was done at 9 p.m., I would just go hit the sack, man. I would hit it so hard and have no energy left, and then do the exact same thing the next day just for 30 days. Intense.
Wow. Lou, I have a question. I'm assuming by your last name you're Italian, or at
Yeah.
least partially.
Oh yeah. I am partially Italian. I think only around like 30 to 35% really if you put it all together. But yes, that's kind of the part of my heritage that I identify with the most because my dad's Italian. He has a big family. We grew up with that whole family, the Puccis, you know. Um, and so yeah, I have a very, intense, I would say, Italian heritage of, meatballs and spaghetti.
That's how I feel, even though I'm allergic to onion and garlic, believe it or
Yeah.
not. Uh,
No, that's so
yeah.
sad.
I
That's
know
so
everybody says that. It's all my life. So I
well, damn.
I want to ask you about transitioning from being, this teen actor into adulthood and how you were able to, I don't know, I guess keep your sanity and, make the right
Yeah,
choices and things like that.
totally. Well, navigating that has been, I think, most of my life now in a weird way. But it is hard to navigate. I started off as this, like you said, indie darling. Had to move from boyish to somewhere in the man category. Still not like looking too old myself.
Mm-mm,
So,
mm-mm.
can't really play too many dads or anything like that. But um, I think what really happened in that transition was I said to myself, like, I don't, and this is just me, my truth here is me saying, I don't think there's anything I don't want to try. If somebody wants to give me a role that scares the shit out of me, I'm gonna do it. One of the biggest representations of that was doing a movie called The Story of Luke, where I played an autistic main character, or Asperger's, high functioning Asperger's autistic main character. The needle that was being thread through there of doing comedy, but at the same time not seeming like you're making fun of any of that because that's not what it was about, was extremely difficult. And the truth is, no one would want to take that part, you know? So I kind of feel like I'm the guy that takes the roles that nobody else knows what the hell to do with. And I
Wow.
just go, yeah, I'll take it. That's what I want. I want the thing that nobody else knows what the hell to do with. And I'm gonna just go for it and go crazy and see what happens. And it hasn't failed yet, so that's good.
And with Touch Me, honestly, you kill. You absolutely kill.
Thank you so much. That's so sweet. I really I haven't seen like the end result, probably the one that you've seen. But I've seen so many edits of it now, and I really love it. It's gotten so fun and so much better. And now I think I just can't wait to see it with all special effects and stuff, you know.
Yeah. Well, I can't I have a great time at Sundance. My final question to you real quick is what are you in that we can see coming up besides ex-husbands?
Yeah, no problem. I recently, I'm sorry, I'm right now making a movie called Avalanche, which will probably be a film festival type of film, with Johnny Coffeen as our director writer, and then also made a few episodes of Daredevil, which thankfully I got to play a really pivotal role in a show that, I mean, the Netflix version of that show was so good. And so I'm really excited to see this Disney Plus version of the same thing now, really in some ways headed by some of my best friends, Aaron and Justin, who just made Touch Me as well. So those are the two things that you can see me in the soonest.
Fantastic. Well, I look forward to it. Again, congratulations. Thanks for taking the time out, Lou.
Thank you so much, Frank. Nice to meet you.
Likewise.